Okay, today we are going to hopefully solve some no image problems. So I've got an iPhone 7 here that I thought would be a good thing for stream because it has no image, and I haven't seen that yet on iPhone 7. Once I saw iPhone 7 with no backlight, but that was after long screw damage near the charge port. I have not seen any straight up backlight failures, conventional backlight failures, or image failures until this one. So I thought it would be an interesting case to look at. And then I also have a 6S here that has an image fault for data recovery, and a 6. I doubt we'll get to all of them because it's pretty late to start. So here we can hear that this phone is on. So you hear it detected by iTunes. I can see that it is detected by iTunes, but there is nothing on the display. So let's see what we can figure out. So I looked at this a little bit already. What I like to do with a phone like this is to differentiate no image from no backlight, but that means tearing up an iPhone 7 screen in order to kind of see through that, and I'm not willing to do that with either one of these screens. So we're going to just go on a hunt. So I've already checked out the backlight circuit, and I don't think that this is a backlight problem, although I could be wrong. I can't see any kind of Apple logo or image with a bright light through the screen, so I think this is going to be an image problem. Let's see if we can look under the microscope and see what the deal is. All right, so this one I noticed some minor connector damage. So you can see that right here, especially if you look on an angle. And these connectors, especially in the 6S, have to really be on point. So I can see a little bit of kind of bent pin. Look at that pin on the end. That's a little bit out of whack. Something like that at times can be enough to make a connector not grab the screen and therefore not work. So the backlight pins on the iPhone 7 are down here. So we have our backlight anode and cathode lines, or these pins here on the end. And I went around hunting down the backlight circuit, and that led me over here, and I found the backlight anode and cathode filters. They all looked fine, but just to rule out backlight, I put a temporary jumper here. There's no short to ground on the line. And then I took a peek to see where the backlight driver is. And the backlight driver is in here. So I think that's the backlight driver, this guy. And I think that this is the backlight diode, which kind of jumped out at me a little bit. I wasn't sure whether or not it was damaged or not, but I measured across it and it seems to be okay. So for now, I'm going to rule out backlight. Now, while I was here, I noticed a little bit of a burn mark that jumped out at me. Let's see if it jumps out at you guys. So let's see what you guys think. Can you see this tiny bit of a burned, like, orange tint on that solder? Look how shiny silver, everything's shiny, shiny silver. And there's a little bit of a discoloration there. So that makes me question that filter. And that's what led me to decide, hey, let's go ahead and do a stream on this phone and see what we can find out. So it looks like a filter to me. So let's measure across that. So if it is indeed a filter, I should get a beep in continuity mode when I measure across that filter, and I don't. So that tells me, hey, that's going to be a blown filter, which is consistent with the problem. So let's see, what does that do? So if we're troubleshooting an image problem, the first thing I like to do is to look to see how does the image system get power and how does it get data. So let's see if we can look at the iPhone 7 schematic and understand how does image work. So we'll start here at the connector, and there's a lot going on at this connector. I'm going to see if I can use this schematic over here, and hopefully you guys can see it on OBS. Yeah, that looks okay. All right, so up at the top, we can see, can you see my cursor? Let's see if you guys can see my cursor. Let's see if you can. Does that show? Yeah, highlighted. All right, so up here at the top, we can see this line PP 5V7 LCM. LCM sounds like screen, so that sounds like a power line for image or display. The one down, Mason, that sounds like it might be a touch power line. I'm not sure about the next one, probably also touch. And then this at pin number 5 here, so this line, oops, pin number 7, this line here, PP1V8 LCM, that sounds a lot like an image power line. And in fact, I'm going to start with that one because that's the line that commonly gets damaged in the iPhone 6s No Image. So I'm going to check on all of these, and I'm looking to see whether or not they have something like a short to ground, a missing voltage, an open line, something like that. So let's follow this PP1V8 LCM, and it has the appendage CONN for connector when it's here at the connector. So if we're just going to copy that, and then we'll hit paste, paste, and follow that, and we see that it gets to and crosses through a filter. So FL3906 is a filter that needs to be there in order for this PP1V8 to be delivered to power the display. So that's part of image power, and those other lines that we mentioned are likely also, at least some of them are likely also required for image in the iPhone 7. So let's look up where is FL3906. So let's go over to ZXW. So here at ZXW, we can see at the connector, let's type in that FL3906. So we'll just type that in. If you we get asked a lot, what is this software? This is the ZXW tool. It is just a picture of the actual board view itself. So there's no more information on here in general than is available on the schematic, and sometimes ZXW is wrong, but in general, it's a good tool. So, and we sell that at iPadRehab.com if you look in our supply store. So here we go. Isn't that the same filter that I just found? I think so. So let's click it. So FL, yes, I'm aware. You found the right part. Yes, got it. Stop telling me that. There we go. So FL3906 is a filter, and we can see that it goes from the PP1V8 line, crosses through, and it ends up here. Maybe you guys can see this, I'm not sure. Here, there's a cap on it, and it goes to the LCD connector. All right, so that makes sense then. Now we know that this filter that we just saw on the board, so let's look back at the board itself. So let's take this off and look at the board, and let's kind of rotate this around so that it's in the same orientation as ZXW. And we can see that that filter is the same one that has kind of come across our radar screen with visual exam as, hey, this guy is not good. So let's change that and see whether or not that's all it takes, hopefully, to bring back image on this iPhone 7. So we have a spontaneous corruption of this FL3906. Now, if you look it up on the schematic, because you want to replace it, and ideally you would replace it with the exact same value, and that's going to be a little bit of a tall order since there's not an exact match on earlier versions. So this would be something, now that I've seen it once, I would expect to see this again. And so this would be the kind of thing that I would now then stock. But for now, it is a very close match to the 6S backlight filter, so that's what I'm going to use to replace it and see if that solves. All right, so we've got that filter taken off, and I will bring back my chat window so that I can see you guys. All right. Now let's turn on a soldering iron so that we can make some puffy pillows that we need in order to put this dude back. Alright, let's see, that looks like it's up to date. Everybody on chat is talking about some kind of microscope. I just went to the middle school open house, which was, I have to say, awesome and makes me love the public school here in Honey Falls, New York. They're just doing a fantastic job of making everything incredibly relevant, incredibly practical. I think I was super impressed. One thing, they got rid of shop class. No more shop class, which I love shop class. And it looks like they've replaced it with something called technology. And so I went in there thinking, technology, this is going to be dumb. There's going to be some outdated, who knows what stuff, like history of computers or something like that. I was wrong about that. Technology class is an excellent replacement of shop class. These guys in technology class, they're going to do like, they're going to learn how to make CAD drawings and design a rocket as their first project and design a parachute to go in the rocket. They have some kind of a laser cutter that will then cut out their CAD design drawings, and then they'll have a big contest with these rockets that they're building. Super fun stuff. Who doesn't want to do that? They're gonna do some destruction. They're gonna like build a bridge and see. They're gonna use some kind of bridge design software, and then they're gonna build these bridges out of something like popsicle sticks and have a lot of fun with that. It just sounds like exactly what you would want to be doing instead of shop class. It's to sort of modernize shop class and make it really relevant. So that components of a screen, from the glass to polarizer and backlight and the LCD, different qualities and different brands of LCD, copy LCD, original LCD, refurbished stuff. And then they really kind of educate consumers that there are different chameleons of screens that you can get, and then they have different prices. So they stock a few different types of screen, and then they just ask the customer, all right, which one of these do you want to put in your phone? And customers come in there, wanting to buy on price. So they can advertise the cheapest screen by saying, like starting at, $49 or whatever. And so customers come in there wanting to buy on price, but then they get to see and be educated. And then they said 95% of the time they sell the original quality, best you can get screen. And I think that's a fantastic way to just educate consumers. That's our job. We have to educate them on, hey, not all iPhone screens are made the same. So I think that's pretty good deal. All right, let's see if we can, let's see if this camera decided to go to sleep. I think I heard him decide that he wanted to take a nap. All right, wake it up. Okay, so let's see. Let's move this out of the way. I am going to put a screen on here now and see if that makes a difference or not. And if not, we'll probably move on anyway, because I have a tight schedule. My dad just drove up from Maryland, and I need to get home so that I can say hi to him. All right, so let's see what happens now. I don't see any yet. Oh, yay! There we go. So image is solved. So it was not a backlight problem. This was a straight up bad image filter in the iPhone 7 that seems to have happened by itself. And then I'm guessing that the little bit of connector damage, I did look up that pin. It was a ground pin, so it's kind of less important. Probably happened from trying multiple screens and troubleshooting this for a while. All right. What's your thought on the increased price of AppleCare for the iPhone X? Did they increase the price for AppleCare? I mean, I would assume they would, because it doesn't, I mean, they do what makes sense. So you can't really say, hey, pay us $99 and then we will replace your screen for $30 2 times if you drop your phone. They can't really, that doesn't make sense for them anymore. So I would expect for them to increase their price. I mean, they're not in the business of losing money. So whatever it is that they're into the repair for, there we go. So this is now booted up to hello screen, and it has touch, and that is the end of that one. So this one now is gonna be done. So there we go. We use the iPhone 6s backlight filter, and you can look up on the schematic and see that it is a close but not exact match for iPhone 7 image filter. All right, so that one will go in the done pile. There's my iPhone 6s. All right. Your stream is buffering bad. Well, that is not anything that I can help with. It says 60 frames per second, and it's in the green. So I don't think anything else is using up internet around here. So we are just stuck with the very best internet, the very best Time Warner Cable Spectrum internet that money can buy here in Honey Falls. All right, so let's look at this one. This is an iPhone 6s with water damage that's here for data recovery. So let's go ahead and click over to the microscope and give this board put our eyeballs on it. So I've been working on this board. This board has, yeah, so the 6 got the new PMIC and a whole bunch of work. This one had similarly a blown image filter, and for data recovery I stuck a jumper on there to see if that would be enough to bring back image, and it was not. So let's look at the connector, and we don't see any corrosion of those pins on the connector. None of the little nubs look like they're bent or misshapen, so we are gonna say connector is not on our radar screen. Backlight over here we don't really care about. And then I saw that there was corrosion in this area by the chestnut chip. So we're gonna see what chestnut does. So I could see that there's been water here. It's hard to see now. See how there's the oxidation there, here, down there. That tells us that a drop of water was here. There's oxidation there. Whereas the rest of the board really looks really good, except for right there, of course. And the chestnut chip is a boost chip, so it has a high voltage. It tends to draw water, and if it doesn't have any protection under it and there's water there, it's going to go underneath. So we see a lot of chestnut faults in the iPhone 6s. So here is so I took off chestnut to see what did it look like underneath, and I had for a while saved it on top of this board when I decided, yeah, that's pretty cool, I'll do a stream on that. So you can see, here it is. This is the chestnut that I just took off of this board. So look at that shit stain of corrosion. That is really, really bad. So let's see how it used to go. So it would have gone on like this. And now let's peek. Let's flip it over and look at how terribly corroded the one ball is right here. That is just total schmutz. And that looks like a burn. That's not just mud of corrosion. This is like fire, like oh, you can't see. That is like a burn. And so when they get like that, they weld to the underlying pad. So as a result, the pad is going to come off with the chip. And I just did one exactly like this yesterday. So I think this is also a fairly common fault. So look at that. So there's no pad left there at all. Now, do we need that? So let's see if we can figure out what does chestnut do. And let's see. So let's see if we can go to the iPhone 6s schematic. And I think I'm gonna just take you guys there I'm not downloading any kind of Windows updates. Better not be. Is you kill updates now and streaming is good? Okay. What Windows updates? Oh, I try to never do any of that. So let's see if we can just look at the screen so that we can move around here a little bit on the 6S schematic. All right, so on the 6S here, let's get rid of chat. Is that an NC pad there? You tell me. All right, so let's look at this connector. So again, this is image problem. This phone will boot and it will connect to iTunes and we can hear it, but we don't see anything on the screen. And on this one, it is not backlight. So I can peel the backlight away and there's definitely no image. So same kind of fault. So where I started was the same way, which is looking at these and trying to guess what's important here for image. And there's a lot going on. So I was looking for image power. So image power, then image data. And if image power and image data are okay, then think, why is the screen not detected by this stuff that's over there? All right, so let's rule out not touch. So this one probably needs to be there. PP5V7 LCM, so that's a image power rail. PN5V7 LCM Mason, so that may be an image power rail. And then this one, PP1V8 LCM. This is the exact same image rail that we just saw. So this is where I started with this problem, which is to say, all right, let's sort of walk our way down these lines and see what we can learn. So let's see, where does he go? And he goes to pretty much the exact same filter. It's a little bit of a different value. That's why I recommend that you get the exact one for the iPhone 7 coming up. But this one fails a lot. So my first question was, is this guy missing or gone? Because it is such a common fault. So let's look back and see under the microscope, where is that guy? And that's here. So I measured, and sure enough, the filter was bad. So I just replaced it with a wire, since this is data recovery and I just need to get an image enough to get the data off of this phone. So while I'm troubleshooting, sometimes I'll do that. If there's no short to ground on the line and I'm sure that I don't need that filter to protect from anything while I'm working on the device, then for troubleshooting, to be quick, I might put jumpers for filters as I work my way to the problem. But that wasn't the problem, so then let's move on. So let's go back to that iPhone 6S, iPhone 6S schematic, and where then on the other side of this filter is just PP1V8. Now PP1V8 is a brainstem of the phone. It goes everywhere, so there's no way the phone could turn on if PP1V8 had any kind of problem. So I've ruled that out. That line is not my problem. That is not why I don't have image. So let's look at the other image power rail. So let's look at this one, let's take PP5V7 LCM. All right, so let's follow this guy then and say, do I have a problem on that line? What can I learn about that line? So if I follow this line, it looks like there is similar thing blew up. Like, how important is that? So let's see if we can figure that out. So that pad corresponds to this one right here that appears to be missing. So let's go to ZXW tool and see if we can navigate our way to the iPhone 6S. So we'll get out of the 7, we'll go to the 6S. And wow, the stream is so far behind chat. Is it? Okay, so let's see. Here's Chestnut. This is the guy that's seriously banged up. Who are you? VCC main. Well, that makes a lot of sense. That VCC main damage is going to happen when you take a phone that's wet and put it on a charger. Then if you've got a short on VCC main, which this phone did have that I cleared before I did anything else, you're going to be dumping current into VCC main, and that can cause problems. So do we need VCC main then in order to get Chestnut to work, in order to get image, in order to get data? And the answer is yes. So let's look at the schematic as well. So let's get rid of get rid of ZXW, and let's go back to the schematic itself, just so that we can kind of understand a little bit about chestnut function. So chestnut then needs to make this image power rail, and how's he going to do that? He's going to need all this stuff going in and out of him working. So chestnut himself has voltage in from VCC main. So that actual pad there, the one that's corroded, is the plug to the wall for chestnut. So chestnut's definitely not going to work without VCC main. Everything else around chestnut pads looked good. So all of these data lines, and there's an output cap that's sort of integral to the function of chestnut. All of the rest of this stuff looked good, and we had this one major problem there. So that is going to lead us to repair time. So it's time to figure out, what are we going to do? So what have we learned? We've learned that we had a problem under chestnut from water damage, and it is specifically on the VCC main pad there, and that we can't just leave that off because we need to have VCC main in order for this chip to turn on. So now we have a technical challenge. Let's see how we're going to deal with that. Let's see. So I'm going to put some flux on here and just see what I can do to clean up this area. I'm not going to braid any kind of pads. That's way too dangerous. This is already going to be hard enough with a missing essential pad in super tiny tight clearance. It might be, it's going to be a technical challenge to begin with. So let's not try to rip off any more pads. So I've got my mini hot tweezers, and I'm just going to kind of punch down the remaining balls here. And I'm going to see whether or not my actual VCC main pad is gone or not. Now you can see I'm getting some icicling with the mini hot tweezers. They really aren't hot enough. They can't deliver enough heat to really punch down those balls. So I'm going to switch over and see if I can get my larger iron that'll have a much greater thermal mass in that area to just kind of clean those up a little bit. All right, and we'll have plenty of flux. All right, is chestnut sensitive to heat? Well, I guess all chips are sensitive to heat, but you know, I often advise people to think about, when you think about like heat, think about, how did chestnut get on this board to begin with? And the answer is, it was exposed to kind of soldering temperature heat. So if you're talking about soldering temperature heat, then you're fine. If you're talking about the kind of temperatures that you can get when you have a really sizzling on fire spot on the board, you know, I have seen an example of like the Tiger's chip, for example, will get so hot when it has a short on one of the PMID caps that it will, and I've looked up the data sheet on that, and it tells you this is the range of temperatures that Tigers can tolerate, and I think that that can exceed that when it's like practically on fire. All right. Can't handle all this stop-start streaming. Nope, sorry, nothing I can do about that. All right, let's cross our fingers and see whether or not this pad is just deeply corroded but still there, and we can rejuvenate it. So we're gonna find out. All right, so let's see. Otherwise, if it's actually gone, then we have a bigger repair to do. But I think we'll be able to bring it back. At first I thought it was gone, but then after cleaning it up, it looks like it's still there. All right, it is just beat down. It is having a bad day. Poor little VCC main. Poor little VCC main pad. Now I'm just trying to mechanically scrub away that oxidation. This is just trying to rejuvenate and tin it enough so that it can make a bond with a new chestnut. All right. So now I'm going to grab that bigger iron again to kind of push everybody down without icicling and see what we can do. Especially that ground plane right there. Get down, buddy. So I like to, work on an angle like this because I like to not have to use the Barlow lens. I don't like Barlow lenses. They just change, make a, kind of posture change that I think is really just odd. All right, so that's good enough for me. Let's grab a new chestnut and get it on here. iPad Rehab, how's it going? What are you working on? We are working on, we've already fixed one no image in an iPhone 7, and now we're on an iPhone 6S. And then I've got an iPhone 6, but I think that I have no idea why that one doesn't have image. So I'm not sure that I'm motivated to put any more time into that one tonight. All right, so here's a new chestnut. Now let's check. Thank you, Jess. I was able to change an iPhone 5S TriStar chip successfully for the first time. Well, that is great, Richard. Good job. Excellent. We always like to hear everyone's successes. And really, board repair for TriStar jobs and things like that should be done at the local level. So I'm just going to click over here to ZXW to just check on that orientation. This cool down and we will see whether or not that solved the image problem for that guy or not. Let's see if this is working. Nope. Let's see. So it looks like my new camera, the GoPro camera, doesn't like to stay awake. He likes to go to sleep. So I'm not the only one buffering today. Yes, lots of complaints of buffering. What I'm seeing here is that dropped frames are 0 according to OBS, and maybe this is a YouTube problem, I'm not sure. It has pretty normal looking, frames per second and things like that, so I'm not really sure. Not sure. Nope, seems to be YouTube at the moment. Okay, great. Nope, I am buffering too, so it might just be YouTube. I'm gonna guess that it is YouTube because everything looks good from over here. All right, so let's see if we can, I think it would be funny to troll you guys, just like freeze and make it look like buffering. That would be a funny green screen idea, to do just some kind of buffering. All right, so let's chat while this cools down. So here's an idea that I had. I want to pitch this idea and see what you guys think. When I went to the iFixit Unconference, which was fantastic, everyone should go to that conference. It's a beautiful space. There was plenty of toys and tools and stuff that you could work on. And Kyle's wife Jen is an amazing chef, and she made all kinds of great dinners and breakfasts and stuff. And there was lots of wine. Great time. You should go to the iFixit Unconference next year if they are doing it again. So hopefully they will. But while there, it was easy to exchange ideas and talk to people. And one of the things that came up was talking about certification and standards and things like that. My argument about certification for the industry is that certification is a test of established best practices. And right now we don't have those best practices. We just, have yet to agree on what is the best way to change the glass in an iPad. What is the best way to do X, Y, and Z? We don't know. And then I started thinking about how it is that we do get information. How is it that you became aware of the fact that the evolution of the touch disease repair has, I'm going to leave this on microscope because that's too weird to see my own hands. We'll just look at this board. So how is it that you learned that the progression of our understanding of touch disease has changed over time, so that now today the people that see the most of it all agree that the M1 jumper is the solution for touch disease. So Mason comes off, M1 jumper, Mason goes back on, and that is the robust lasting solution. But that didn't used to be the case. And so there's all of this sort of history of us getting to that point. How do you get that one factoid that, hey, the folks in the know agree that this is the solution? And I thought about how other industries have some sort of an organization like our Repair.org, a trade organization that would be able to dispense those kinds of updates or little factoids. So I like that. Is there a reason you have your microscope focus bracket upside down? Yeah, so that I can get the height. It's hard. I'm not sure the bracket is upside down. Yeah, I don't think so. Or it's cobbled together from like 3 or 4 different microscopes, more likely. I know I did transfer this base. But my point here is I like this idea of a Repair.org sponsored industry newsletter, a quarterly newsletter that would ask people that really seem to know a lot about individual pieces of repair. For example, a microsoldering piece, but then also like an unlocking piece. Like somebody told me on a comment, you don't, need a SIM to activate a Verizon phone. I don't know for sure that that's true, but if it is true, that's definitely news to me. So I had a phone here that SE, and it said, SIM not supported as I'm trying to activate it to be able to test it. And I tried a Verizon SIM, and the guy's like, you don't need a Verizon SIM to activate the phone. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'd like to know if it's true. So I'd like to have people that do a lot of unlocking tell me something like, let's say the iPhone X GSM version can't be used on Verizon, or we've confirmed this, or something like that. Somebody to tell me those kinds of things. Similarly for refurbishing, remember the iPhone SE where you would get static on certain types of LCDs, but not on originals and not on others. I'd like somebody that's the guy that does refurbishing all the time, for him to tell me, hey, this LCD really doesn't work, or the kind of report from these particular screens seem to have a little bit of a lift, or these screens are okay and our customers like them, but they seem to crack a lot. Like those kinds of industry reports. And then for general repair as well, for people to find some little tidbit and then kind of funnel that up the chain, so that then it could be like kind of formally disseminated in a newsletter format. So I'm a big fan of this idea, and I would like to see you, Michael Oberdick, from on the board at Repair.org, to make that happen. I'd like to see Repair.org. And if any of you guys would like to contribute, if you feel like, yeah, I'm pretty know what's what in kind of subfield X, Y, or Z, then let me know in the comments so that we can make sure that we reach out to folks that want to kind of make sure that as a group, independent repair is really representing ourselves as best we can, so that we're not leaving out has touch. So I'm going to call that one done, catch up on chat, and then get out of here. What's a fair price to charge for a long screw damage repair on iPhone 6? That for us, that is a monster repair. So that one for us is going to, it may even now be either at the point or really close to falling off the repair treadmill. So I kind of have this idea of the repair treadmill being, the most modern, latest and greatest devices have some sort of a signature problem that you charge based on what does that do for the customer as far as the value of the device. What's their other option? Replace the device for X, Y, or Z. So if you charge a fraction of their other option, that makes sense for you and it makes sense for them. So that price has to kind of go down as the device ages, and their other option will become to buy it on eBay for $150, buy it on eBay for $99, and at some point your repair always has to be a fraction of that other option for them. So for the iPhone 6, you could probably buy another iPhone 6 for less than what would be the minimum that I would be willing to do iPhone 6 trace damage repair for, because that is so very difficult. So I think not yet, because Mark is just so fast on these, and he's just incredibly talented and has been doing this for such a long time. But I think, I don't know, in 6 months I would think it would move to data only for us, I think. Let's see. Do the same as iFixit with Answers forum with them as sticky subject. Yeah, I think there's so many forums. That's the thing. I want to not have a forum. I mean, there's so many great forums. It's overwhelming. I mean, I spent time last night on the Apple support community forum, wrote my first answer over there in 9 months or a year. It immediately got deleted. So that's kind of part of this information sharing thing. I like the idea of a quarterly newsletter that's just sort of bullet points from each subdomain of the industry. All right, so we've got Miguel says sign me up. Kara Seth says sign me up, and she's doing great work with refurbishing. I remember her refurbishing the curvy edge screens back when she was at the course. Joe Ham wants to help out. That sounds good. All right, so everybody, the chat kind of goes away after, when this becomes a video. So come back and comment on the video, and we'll see if we can kind of get something together. Problem is getting people to volunteer their time and effort to write articles for a newsletter, then having an editor put the stuff together on a monthly basis. Yeah, I've said quarterly basis. I agree. Monthly, that's too much work. But I did post this on the Shop Talk group, and I named a few people that I know know a lot about stuff that I don't know about, and all of them were like, absolutely, sounds like a good idea. I want to go to your school from Edmonton, Canada, but I'm too scared. I'd like to go to your school and learn, but I'm too scared. Well, you got a man up there, Dennis. I can't help you with that. That's pretty funny. What if you would ask your audience to post the response on Apple Chat? It was about a baseband CPU issue. Let's actually see if we can go there. That might be fun. Let's do it. Let's go to Apple Support Community Forum. All right, what is that called? Support. Let's see. These guys are just total assholes. And here's the thing. This is the only reason I care about this, is because there's no way. That's the wrong thing. We're not doing iPhone 5 data recovery. If you're an end user with a problem, and you type in, something like iPhone 6 Plus searching no service, rather than it going to any person that knows the answer to how to fix that, stupid two-factor identification. Why is it doing that? I gotta verify my identity. My son set up two-factor identification, which is really annoying. Give me my code. Let's see. The Apple Support Community Forum is always going to have the top spot on Google for any iPhone hardware problem. So even though they don't fix it, so that's what stinks about it, is because you can't you can't get away from that. So who knows how many people are getting steered away from fixing their hardware problem at an independent repair shop that can change their TriStar, change their touch chips, because they are being told by this group of assholes that it is impossible. All right, so let's see. Let's see what we can answer. All right, so I was on here last night and I answered one that got deleted, and then I answered a few more where they just kind of yelled at me. Well, let's see. Let's do this one. How can I repair? Well, this is going to be old because it's got. But let's see. How can I repair an iPhone 6s from water damage? So when was this asked? Okay, so that's not old. All right, let's answer, shall we? Since we just did that on this exact stream. My phone was dropped in water just for a second, and now the display is black. Is there any way to repair the display? Holy YouTube-friendly word. That's like totally what we just did on this stream. So let's provide an answer here and see, and then we can refer back to this video so that they can see that it can actually be done. Shall we? All right, let's see. Okay. Oh, here we go. So let's look at the top answer here. By the way, I'm like on this stream, we've just recovered data from an iPhone 6s with water damage. The iPhone is not user serviceable. Do not turn on, that's a good idea, charger while moisture is suspended. That's good. Contact Apple support. Make a Genius Bar reservation or visit an Apple authorized service provider to have your phone inspected and for them to tell you how much money you can pay them to get one of their refurbs. So like this, just tell them Apple can do nothing for you. That's super annoying. All right, helpful. Let's look at just the helpful answers. Take the iPhone to the Apple store. Let them assess it. Why would waiting for 2 days? Helpful, love that. All right. I don't think we would fall out over the rice. As I said, it leaves dust, well, and does nothing. Silica packets is different. No, it's not. Wow. Many people do not have easy access to. Do they have access to a fucking knife and they can, get those pentalobes out with it? They've got a kitchen. Come on. The straight pin, anything. Those are the circumstances. Drying off the phone is the best course of action until service. Service, nobody has mentioned any kind of service at all. What the true odds are that a water-drenched phone will survive? Like, super high if you don't follow any of this fucking piece of shit advice, that's for sure. Oh my God. All right. I agree. Generating hygroscopic, which is not spelled rightly, but that's okay. Hygroscopic atmosphere, of course, helps slightly as it makes evaporation slightly quicker. However, if the weather's dry anyway, the rice effect will be close to zero. Yeah, definitely. I agree, blah, blah, blah. Battery discharge is a matter of hours. It doesn't matter. The main opponent is electrolysis. As for user serviceability, disconnecting the battery is not servicing. Yeah. Apple Store. Anything that involves opening the phone is considered servicing by Apple. Downvote. Anything that involves opening the phone by unauthorized, dirty people like Jessa is considered warranty voiding. You don't have a fucking warranty. It's fucking wet. It's already void. The moment that sticker turns red from your, singing in the shower, that fucking warranty is gone. A wet iPhone is off warranty by definition. Yes. If you had acquired AppleCare Plus, blah, 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 anything that involves opening is considered servicing by Apple. At least until iPhone 6s, there were no anti-tampering protections. I don't understand your point. Blah, blah, blah. So if the eventual damage is not covered, not the opening. If no damage is done, the warranty is still valid. Yes, love that. All right, great. Oh, there's more. All right, I think that we have. Oh, see, now they're getting in a fight. Let's see them gang up on our poor subscriber. We got to go support Marcin Berman. Is it possible you could open an older phone and not have Apple notice it? Yes. Disconnecting it, not really, even if the warranty service at a fee, blah, blah, blah. Advising people to do things like open the phone and disconnect the battery is irresponsible. Look at that. Advising people to do the exact thing you should fucking do is irresponsible. No, it's not. Oh my God. This is insane. All right. It is repairable. The circuitry is compromised by the water damage. The integrity of the circuit connections and solder joints are weakened and the device may fail at any point. Yes, that is true. That is true. But you know, if it's me, my personal phone, you know, if I get the iPhone X and drop it in water, what I'm going to do is in that moment know how to disconnect the battery. And there's a lot of them that water doesn't hit the board. If you can disconnect the battery, you can get all those little droplets will just dry out on the counter and you'll be fine. So that's the main thing, is to teach people how to open up and disconnect the battery, and then you may never actually get that board damage. All right, so being noticed is not a problem because nowhere is it forbidden to open a phone. Ill-advised. Love, love, love this. If Apple sees a phone has been opened and there's any damage and out of warranty, that's not true. They're not going to not take your phone and your $350. That's what I'm saying. Advising someone to DIY or unauthorized is irresponsible. No, it's not. Yeah, here we go. Then this is unwritten policy, does not follow any warranty documents. Yes! Helpful. Love it. Click, click. What if Apple does not offer at all data recovery, which it does not? Disconnecting the battery is not repair. 2 posts ago it was even called damage, which it's also not. Yes. Yes, you guys, I see that, you know, it sounds like YouTube itself, YouTube is giving us some serious buffering problems. I kind of want to put this in here so that we can, so that it can kind of feel more natural. Let's see if I can do that. Window capture. Let's do Apple. Create new. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. Yes. Let's make that be here, and let's promote this up. There. Now we can bitch all together. Let's kind of stick this up here. All right. If the phone is dropped and other problems come to light. All right. This is getting a little long though. Yeah, so you guys can find iPad Rehab on Twitch, which is not buffering, if you want to click over there. Jessa, can you do something about the horrible buffering? I can recommend that we are simultaneously streaming on Twitch. So nobody on Twitch is complaining about buffering. So so go join poor old C Richie 8, who's the only guy I see on Twitch right now. So go to Twitch and look for the iPad Rehab channel on Twitch, and you should be able to get away from the buffering. How is it possible to edit your live stream so viewers were not able to see your verification code? I couldn't give a fucking shit about that stuff. My verification code here, I'll tell you guys what it is. It is 740, blardy blar, doesn't matter. If you try to log in right now as Jessa, you'd have to know my password and my Apple ID, and you would have to know the future code that they're going to send the next time somebody adds in. Really, I don't give a shit about any of that. If you want to, you could go outside and find my unlocked truck outside of the iPad Rehab shop and get in and drive away. Or come in here because nobody's worried about this stuff. All right. Are they being paid by Apple? No. These guys. Hey, 3 people have made it to Twitch. Yay! All right. No buffering on Twitch. All right. Well, welcome to Twitch. Here we go. So Charlie says, I have a 6S Plus, water everywhere. It did not hit anything major on the board. Change the screen, tested, goes great. Been going for over a week. Nice. Oh yeah. So let's all help out our own subscriber here, who is the only one standing up for repair here. So And honestly, none of us really recommend repairing water damage, but it doesn't hurt to take a look if it's your own phone. These people are DIY, DIY people. If you drop your phone in the toilet, the next step should not be trash can. As a DIY person, you should open your phone up and take a look at it. If you're going to throw it away anyway, why not? Then see if you can. All right. How can I repair an iPhone 6s from water damage? Let's answer, shall we? All right, where do we do a reply? Reply to the original poster. Yes. How can I repair an iPhone 6s from water damage? So we'll just skip all of the chatter and say, let's see, what are we going to say? iPhones, let's say an iPhone plus water means one of two things. One, instant damage to the logic board, or two, the water doesn't hit the logic board. If you are in category 1, then the only solution to your problem, then the only repair of your device can be done by a person experienced with logic board repair of iPhones, aka not Apple. If you go to Apple, it would only be to plunk, 300 to 400 bucks down and hand over your wet phone for one of their refurbs in the white box. They will certainly not do any kind of repair whatsoever on any wet phone. If you have important data on the phone, they will tell you you're out of luck. Of course, this is not true. Many people recover data from water damaged iPhones all the time. However, if water plus electricity had a party on your logic board, it probably doesn't make sense to put a lot of time and energy into board level repair if data is backed up and not an issue. All right. The problem for DIY folks, the problem, is category 2. What if water did not hit the logic board when it met the toilet bowl? For these cases, you can sometimes just leave the phone on the counter and it will dry out and be fine. You could put it in rice or silica, although they do nothing more than the countertop method. And you may be lucky. Now here's the thing, and this is what gets tricky about it. The thing here is that when you have water inside the phone, and let's say that it has not yet contacted the logic board, you need to get the battery disconnected right away. If you get that electricity out of the equation ASAP, then you can often save a phone. In fact, I drop my personal iPhone 6 in water all the time just to make this point. My personal phone has no screws in it, and instant disconnection of the battery takes seconds. As a person who makes water damaged iPhones work all day, every day, I can tell you the very best thing you can do when a phone hits water is disconnect the battery. The worst thing you can do is leave the phone in rice for a few days, rice/silica for a few days, and the post is gone. Oh, did you get deleted? I think we should all save our deletes, and Jessa doesn't realize that every time she types a number, she changes her OBS scene. Really? I don't have any of those hotkeys set up. Really? I think you should really save this text for future use when Apple deletes this post. Oh yeah, well I sent a message today. What are we on? There we go. I sent a message today to my friend Jason at Motherboard Vice. He's the editor-in-chief, and I said, you know, the thing that got me going today was the baseband CPU iPhone 6 Plus searching no service issue. You know, that's a fairly well-described issue. It's not nearly as common as touch disease, but I wrote a post that answered the question where I specifically said, you know, choosing to go to independent repair is probably not worth it for this, you know, fairly major repair. You know, replacing the device is probably on par with what something like that's going to cost you. And if you take it to independent guide, then they're going to potentially void your Apple out of warranty support, even though that's BS and there is no out of warranty support for a 6 Plus. I mean, geez, hey, I'm gonna get either an iPhone 6 or an iPhone SE. I'm really torn about whether or not the 6 I like the bigger screen, but it's older, so I don't know which one to get. Does anyone have any advice? So that's asking for opinion. So I posted an opinion that said, hey, as somebody that repairs a lot of phones, we see a lot more iPhone 6 in for repair than iPhone SE, by far. I know there were, of course, a lot more 6 sold than the SE, but still it seems to us that the iPhone SE doesn't have nearly as many failures as the iPhone 6. Post. That's my helpful advice to help them make their decision to think about repairability. And this, douchebag comes along who says, you obviously failed statistics, and then he, writes this like, keyboard warrior, flaming Jessa for, like him saying you failed statistics. I didn't quote any statistics. I'm giving an opinion, and it said in our experience, which is true. It doesn't have anything to do with statistics. And so you failed statistics. That is a personal attack, which is a violation of their terms of service. And then he said the answer is you really don't know which one is more reliable. So then I came back with actual statistics from Repair Shopper, but the guy's just mean. They're all unkind. Anybody that is on there posting about data recovery, these douchebags are like, should have backed it up. That's why you should back your stuff up. They're just awful bullies. So it's the black and white minstrel show. Hopefully that went away. I don't think it's black and white now. All filtering is done by a computer program and then sent to a human to confirm. Well, I know that transcripts or GTFO. Let me finish this and then I can dig that up so that you guys can see that, because that post is probably still around. All right, so let's finish up this little comment. As a person who makes water-damaged iPhones work all day, every day, I can tell you the very best thing you can do when a phone hits water is disconnect the battery. The worst thing you can do is leave the phone in rice silica for a few days and then connect it and then send 5 volts into the board by connecting it to a charger. And that's what everyone does. Hence, water damage is rarely feasible to repair for the sake of the phone. My advice is to think hard about how important it is to you to protect your ability to protect the potential loss of your ability to take the wet phone to Apple and pay them the out of warranty swap fee. To protect the potential loss of your ability to take the wet phone, pay the out of warranty swap fee, which is something to the tune of, what is it? $299. How about now? Is that working? That seems like it should be working. Did I click something? Audio. Yeah, it says audio capture. That should be working. You guys are crazy. For 3 seconds. Probably missing the audio input on that scene. Twitch doesn't work. What are you talking about? OBS scene setup didn't have audio in it. Working now. Okay, I guess I switched scenes again. Let's get to the end of this fucking comment. This is already boring me. No one's gonna possibly read this. All right. Okay, so my advice is how hard. Then think about. Why does it keep doing that? Then think about. Whether the risk is greater or lesser for you to leave that there. All right, let's take that off. All right, now I'm gonna blame Lewis. He probably fiddled something with the past. Blame Lewis. He's hacking into your account. Yes. Twitch seems to need the most recent browser you can just get. It's not doing anything for a guy like me who just uses outdated software. I hear you. I never click those update buttons. Still live. All right. They need the lost packet counter. Let's see. No, it says drop frame 0. I think it's just YouTube. I don't know. Let's go, and I will show you one more thing, and then it's time to get the hell out of here. How funny, though, that whole thing was at the end of, it was the exact problem that we just fixed. All right, so I need to find in my email, let's see if I can find that. Let's see, I think it would be under Forums tab. Let's see. Apple support community. A bunch of people bitching on the iPhone 6 battery charge drain too fast thread. And a bunch of big fight going on that one. Let's see. I'm looking for the one where I told the guy to stop being unkind. Bunch of fight about that. Here we go. Is the iPhone still? All right, here we go. All right, let's look at this, shall we? Why not? All right, so this is what I posted. This is what I responded to last night that they didn't delete. So this one says, I need some good advice. At the moment, I'm looking at phone plans in my price range. I can choose between 2 phones, iPhone 6, iPhone SE. I was wondering which one would be the best to get. Leaning towards 6, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I wrote. Hey, I got 22 points today. Look at me, I'm up to level 2. Woo-hoo. We repair phones and we see far less iPhone SE than 6. Keep in mind that there were more iPhone 6 sold than SE, but still they rarely have problems. Look at that. The OP marked it solved. Yeah. And that so the douchebag level 9 guys, they can't make anything, they can't like click it as answer accepted. That has to come from the OP. And let's view the answer in context. All right, so then this is what this guy says. Like, just, you know, level 8, so that means like 8 out of 10 on the douchebag scale at Apple Support Community Forums. And this guy, let's roll it down. See that? Level 8, 8 out of 10 on the douchebag scale. And he says, you may be good at fixing things, but you flunked statistics. Wow, so Lawrence is acknowledging that I can actually fix phones. Score! Wow, come a long way, baby, since the very first post I ever made on here, which was about charge port thing, and they were like, you know, you can clean it out with a Q-tip. You advise them. You're so, you know, like, they totally ripped me a new one for that. The iPhone 6 was released 18 months before the SE. You got it right. There were more of them sold by an order of magnitude, but any products a year and a half older will exhibit more wear and tear independently of the number sold. So the real answer is you have no idea which is more reliable. And neither do I. My iPhone 6 worked just fine for 2 years. But the plural of anecdote is not data. Boom! Burn! People who delete posts are like people who revise history. Yeah. Yeah. So there's that one. So then I had to reply. This is not anecdote, it's fact, blah, blah, blah. This is my reply, which you can read. And then I told him to stop being a douchebag. So let's see if I can find, let's see. Let's leave that there. All right, let's take this and find, I'm going to see if I can find the notification of them deleting my other one, and then I'll seriously be done. All right, let's see. Apple Support Community. Where is you telling me that you're going to delete my answer? Deleted my hard working answer. It is mixed in here with Sunday doing a whole bunch of estimates. Let's see, where is it? It would be somewhere. Usually the ones they delete are marked no reply. Where is that? Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, this is just so annoying. Let's go to the discussion. Wow. Annoying. All right, let me see where they told me they were deleting my stuff. What I have is a notification of the only answer that they have, which is to go to the Apple Store. They deleted my answer, and then they have. All right, let's see. First, go to this thing. All right, I want to find that. This conversation has been marked as important. I doubt that I deleted that email, but I might have forwarded it somewhere. Let's see. I want to find this. I want to find where they deleted it. So it's going to be below this. It will be below that. It's going to have to be on the next page. And where is it? I wish I could see the times on these. The next page? Let's search for the word no reply. All right, I think this is getting to be too hard for me to find the email from them. Ah, here we go. Apple Support Community's notification. Here we go. Yes! Found it. Yes. Okay, so let's read this email. Microjumpers to connect A to B to substitute for the traces internal to the board that becomes stretched from the flexion forces of normal daily use of the iPhone 6 Plus. That's a pretty big repair, so it may not be worth it for a 6 Plus. This is not a repair that Apple would ever offer, so your only option with them would be to replace the device. There are more and more great independent board repair shops out there that would be familiar with this problem. Of course, having a logic board repair done may void your option to sell your phone to Apple and buy one of their refurbs, which is the way I like to describe the out-of-warranty swap thing. This, I think, I mean, honestly, that is just true. I mean, everything in there is absolutely true. And that was deleted. And now let's show you what... let's see, let's click that off for a second and let's see if I can find where that post is. Here it is right now. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I found it, so let's click here. All right, this is current. This is like as it is now. This is the original post that I replied to. That was deleted. Let's see what answer is there now. Shall we? Let's do. All right, so this is their problem, kind of detect SIM card searching, it's, blah, blah, blah. Can anyone help? Here we go, level 10 out of 10 douchebags. Wow, that is high level. That's a lot of time spent here on with the good people of the Apple Support Community Forum. First, follow the instructions here. If you see an error, that's incredibly helpful. If the issue persists, then you can click this link and get no help. I mean, the guy already said he tried to restore it. I mean, you're not gonna restore it and have it work again. Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. And that is it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the only answer here. Mine is deleted, and for a long time it just said no replies. And now we have this helpful response here, and that is it. So why don't you guys all dig up the searching problem in error 56 thread and go tell them what you think is the solution to what is clearly the baseband CPU defect and see what happens. So I am going to, continue to mess around with this because I mean, this is a silly battle to fight, but I care about this because what I don't like seeing is all the millions of people that have straight up TriStar problems or, straight up any kind of board level issues, touch disease, or even searching no service, things like that. Things where it's their choice to decide what to do with the phone. Not the fucking douchebag volunteers with 9 million gajillion points at Apple Support. They're just people. I believe that the the user has the right to information. And it's too much to ask for just a layperson to just out of hand be skeptical of the advice that's given by people with 9-10 levels of daily devotion to the Church of Apple. I mean, they don't know that stuff, that what they're being sold here is just a bunch of lies and a bunch of misinformation. How are they supposed to know that? And that's what I have a really big problem with. People don't have to go to independent repair, but they need to have the options in front of them for them to make their decision. It's up to them. It's up to the user what they want to do. And what I don't like is when a company allows this forum to have such a just overwhelmingly negative attitude where no one can say anything critical at all without really being flamed in a mean-spirited, hurtful way. They allow this arguing to go on these moderators do. They do nothing to stop this bickering. Then that is actually in complete violation of their terms of service. Their terms say no flame wars, stay on topic. I mean, it says all that, and they absolutely do not uphold anyone to those. And yet they are quick to misapply the terms by deleting posts that offer any shred of really relevant stuff. And you can post something just absolutely wrong. Like I could make a new account and post something like, oh, have you tried sleeping with it under your pillow? Because that worked for my cousin and her friend. Like stuff that's totally bogus. They'll leave that up. But when you say the truth, like and it points to some kind of factory defect, they shut that shit down instantly. And that is not cool. It's their own forum. They're allowed to do what they want, but own it, man. Just own up to that and say you're not allowed to post about independent repair here. Then say that. If that's what you're going to do, say it, and own it, and fucking make people be nice and tell people to stop insulting the users when they come posting questions. YouTube sounds like it's down for the count. Is there any kind of direct stream URL from Twitch that I can just paste? I don't know. I don't know. All right. I agree. You spend stupid money for the phone. Yeah, exactly. All right. The statement of design fault is your opinion, not of the designer's design, just ignorance. They overlooked some things. It's planned obsolescence. I wonder if it could be considered libelous. People post it's an opinion. The idea of design flaw, that is my opinion. But I'm an Apple user, and I'm allowed I'm allowed to hold that opinion. Because notice in that other thread, it is nothing but, I guess we didn't show that one. There's one on there now that's about charging problems in iPhone 6, and it is pages and pages and pages of battle over, the level 9 guy batting down the newbie because the newbie suggested planned obsolescence. I don't believe it.